That we are all here by divine appointment. And as I say to our viewing audience, you tuned in at this moment because this is the moment that makes a difference. We celebrated our 4th of July on July 4th, which was Thursday, and we acknowledged all the fireworks and this amazing birth of this country and this consciousness. And I want to share the Declaration of Interdependence with you. And as we celebrate this week, our American Declaration of Independence, signed in 1776, we also affirm our fundamental interdependence with fellow citizens of our community, our country, and our planet. The first Declaration of Interdependence was written by Will Durant in 1944, a very auspicious year. And since then, there have been many versions offered by different people and organizations. This affirmation is written by Melanie Bacon, and I thought it was so profound that I want to share it and I want to send it out into the universe. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all life is interconnected and endowed by our Creator with certain inalienable rights and responsibilities. That among these are presence, compassion, and the pursuit of happiness. That to secure these rights and responsibilities, we open our minds and our hearts to the needs of others and our own true needs. We hear the sound of the living universe in our ears and add our voice to the song. We live every moment with awareness of the purity and power of existence. And for the support of this declaration, we pledge to each other our love and our breath. For the freedom of the one is the freedom of all. And the pain of the one is the pain of the all. The breath of the one is the breath of the all. And the breath of the all is the breath of God. I so relate to this. I so feel this at my heart center. That we are one. This moves beyond color, race, creed, and sexual orientation. Our God is a God of oneness. Do you agree with that?
Yes.
Our God is all-inclusive and moves beyond all those differences. We are joined together through our similarities. We grow through our differences. We open the space of not just being tolerant. Oh, I'm going to tolerate you, I guess. Don't like it, but that's what I got to do. No. Toleration is just another form of unacceptability as far as I'm concerned. No, we are accepting. Whatever your path, whatever your persuasion, whatever your sexual orientation, your color, your race, your creed, we accept you. We invite you into our circle. We can agree to disagree, but the ground of being in the nature of this freedom and recreating the legacy of freedom is to open the circle wider. The ancient ones, the indigenous people, called it a sacred hoop. And within this sacred hoop, there was the energy of prayers. Within this sacred hoop, there was an honoring of nature. There was an honoring of Earth Mother, Sky Father, Grandfather Sun, Grandmother Moon, the finned ones below, the winged ones above, the rock people that shared their sermons in stones, the creepy crawlies that cleansed and purified the Earth Mother, the standing ones, the trees, our guardians, and our sister, the babbling brook that shares her song in a universe that is filled with calm, and all the little four-leggeds that romp and roam and muse upon the Earth Mother that is their home. And we two-leggeds that walk the good red road of peace and balance together, hand in hand. Because we did not weave the web of life, we are merely a strand on it. A luminous strand. And what we do to the web of life, we do to each other. We honor the sacred hoop of life as Chief Seattle made this declaration that we did not weave the web of life, we are merely a strand on it. That through this unconditional positive regard, we honor one another, we salute one another. In India, they have the word namaste that I incorporated in our ministry. To honor that presence within you, to honor that place within you that has never been touched by grief, it has never given offense, it has never taken offense. It is the place of God. Now we know even in spiritual communities that we go through shifts and changes and energy. And I was having a discussion with one of our ministers. I said, if we can view everything as energy, we won't take anything personally. Don Miguel Ruiz wrote a book called The Four Agreements. And the first one is to be impeccable with our word. That our word is life force energy. It comes from the throat chakra. And the chakra in the ancient Sanskrit means a wheel of spinning energy in a clockwise fashion. That we speak our word as one having authority, Jesus said. Decree a thing and it shall be established unto thee. We speak our word with power and authority, and it comes into manifestation. And we open this lotus to speak these words. And Don Miguel Ruiz, when he said to be impeccable with your word, realize that the four agreements of life, if everyone was impeccable with their word, how amazing this place would be. When we give our word, we keep our word. And the second agreement is don't take it personally. I think out of all of them, that is the most challenging one, because when we have unhealed issues, and not only individually, but collectively and as a nation. I mean, Sharon Chafe wrote a book called The Addiction of America, and the Addictive Personality, and that she equated it on a global level as well. You know, it's like choose your addiction. We have a lot of them that we can choose from. And you know that, my foundation was to come from a home of alcoholism and to rise phoenix like from the ashes to the truth of who and what I was and the destiny that I was to fulfill. And the moment that I knew that I was healed is the moment that I knew I had a choice. That is the moment of enlightenment, the moment that we know we have a choice. It doesn't need to be this way. We can choose again, as the Course of Miracles states. You don't like what you chose? Choose again. Every loving thought is true, and everything else is a call for healing and help, regardless of the form it takes. That we are interconnected. That this is a declaration of our oneness. This is a declaration of realizing the one in the all and the all in the one. So very powerful. The first time I ever read the Declaration of Interdependence, I wept. I felt it so deeply. Our oneness. That we are all in the New Thought movement and other religions working for peace and love. And I feel there's fanatics and everything that rise up. But the ground of being, energetically, are those devotees that want peace, that want connection, that want the energy of that aliveness and oneness. And as we come together to recreate our legacy of freedom, it's about our own places within us that we need to heal. The crooked places, make the crooked places straight within ourselves before looking outside. And I very much respect someone. He's written a lot of books, but he's always putting on Facebook everything that's wrong with our world, our planet, our environment. And I wrote to him privately. And I said, as light workers and light bearers, we need to be putting the energy on what's working, focus on what's working, create grassroots coalitions for these things. Because we all know what's wrong with the world. It's all in front of our face. But to stand in that knowingness that we can choose a higher vibratory frequency for ourselves, each other, and ultimately the nation, the environment, the ecology. When I was speaking in Costa Rica many years ago in the 80s, I saw the president of Costa Rica, President Arias, walking down the street with his wife. He had a couple, bodyguards behind him, but, there he was. And I said, we were on the bus, I said, stop! That's President Arias! Stop! And so the bus pulled to the curb. Everyone in my party, we all jumped off, and I just went up and shook his hand. And I said, this is so wonderful that you are taking a walk, a Sunday walk on the street. You'd never see our President of the United States doing that. Costa Rica is not armed. There's no armaments in Costa Rica. It is a neutral country. And President Arias said, I always take my Sunday stroll with my wife. It's our time together. Yes, we have a couple of bodyguards, but he said, we feel the energy of our country when I take this Sunday walk. And I just said, oh, I gave him a hug, and we had pictures, of course, and felt such amazing connection with that attitude. And so we have a lot of work to do in our nation. We have a lot of work to do in our country. And we need to keep the healing light on our country, our nation, but first ourselves, to heal that which is within us that needs to be healed, and allow that which needs to be revealed to be revealed. That which needs to be known is known. That which needs to be released is released, and return to its native nothingness. And as we begin to open to the beauty and the knowingness that whenever I've been all over the world speaking, that the minute the captain says, we're now in the United States, there's an applause. That we do love our country, and that we are making strides. That at Luana and Laura's wedding, this beautiful same-sex wedding that we did Wednesday, and how the people in the room and the energy of that love, the overwhelming love and gratitude in the room, and the energy of light, and to even have the little four-legged Sarah, who was the ring bearer, the dog. It was magical. It was a magical moment of so much love. It was palpable. And Dr. Yoshi Suyuki did a beautiful, beautiful exchange of energy with the cups, and to drink from separate cups and then the main cup. And because yes, we drink from our separate cups, but when we're together, we're drinking from the Holy Grail, the chalice that links us so deeply and so tremendously. And that as we look at our sacred mythology, as we go within to the secret place of the Most High, we feel that connection so deeply, so profoundly, that it truly is palpable. I love the story of the young man whose father was a minister, and he had just gotten his learning permit, and he said, Dad, can I take the family car? And his dad said, well, you know what, you got to bring your grades up. I'd like a little more, spiritual study. I gave you that Bible. I don't think you've even cracked it. And he said, I would like to see a little more improvement. And he said, and the last thing, last but not least, get your hair cut. So a couple months went by, and the son said, Dad, what do you think? And he said, I am so proud of you, son. He said, you have gotten those grades up. I see you cracking the Bible and reading it on a daily basis. I am just so proud of you, but you haven't gotten your hair cut. He said, well, Dad, in reading the Bible, I recognized that Moses had long hair, that Noah had long hair, even Jesus had long hair. And his father said, yes, and they walked everywhere they went. Right? Everywhere they went. So, these biblical illustrations certainly do have their place in our lives. For Jesus, who became the Christ, said, love one another as I have loved you. Love your neighbor as yourself. What a great ground of being. And Lord Buddha talked about love and compassion. And that Moses brought the law. And yes, the laws of life. And Jesus brought love. And it was a perfect marriage, wasn't it? Love and law. And that law points the way, and love makes the law possible. That it has to be that combination. When I was in Washington, D.C., I was just mesmerized by the Statue of Freedom on top of the White House. And we always hear about the Statue of Liberty, and she's beautiful, and got her torch, and give me, bring your humble and your poor, and bring them all to me. But this Statue of Freedom, I studied her, and I did a study. And it was so interesting because in her right hand, she was holding a laurel wreath and 13 arrows. And in her left hand, that she was holding a sacred, almost like a statement into the law. She was holding the beauty of the United States in the left hand. And then she was wearing kind of a Grecian helmet like Hermes wore, with the wings on it. And I was so fascinated with this, and in my study and looking at the symbology, that those 13 arrows, the 13, in the Bible, there's the book of Numbers. There's a whole book on numbers and the sacredness of numbers. And that the 13 is a sacred number. It's where matter transcends to spirit. That's what that means. And we don't even know if the sculptor who was guided and directed to do this beautiful Statue of Freedom that stands on top of the White House even knew that sacred symbology. But here is a laurel wreath crowned on each head to invoke the power of peace and energy and victory over the things that no longer serve us, over the nature that does not serve us on any level. To wear that laurel wreath in the knowingness that I am victorious over the everyday. I am victorious over my ego. I am victorious over those things that no longer serve me. I am victorious over old patterns. I am victorious over constantly being offended and making a profession of being offended, so I can then be the victim. We let all that go. And as we release it to its native nothingness from whence it came, the truth of us arises. We can wear that laurel wreath, and we can, those 13 arrows. And remember when Arjuna stepped up to the plate, and they wanted to see who would be the next crown prince. And Arjuna stepped up. And after many, many failures of young men with their bow and arrow missing, and they had a great fish in the sky, and they had an eye in the fish, and the one who hit the eye in the fish would be the great prince of the land. And as the eye in the fish was reached, that personage would wear the laurel wreath. Arjuna stepped up to the plate. He took the bow and the arrow. He extended the arrow, and it hit the eye of the fish out of so many, hitting the body, hitting the fin, whatever, missing completely. And the old sage said, "Ah, Arjuna, what did you see?" And he said, "I saw only the eye of the fish." Let us join together on this day and see only the sacred eye, the holy eye, the God's eye. The eye in which I see God is the same eye in which God sees me. This is the eye that sees through appearances, conditions, and effects of life to the truth of being, that there is only perfection in the universe, regardless of what is being expressed at that moment, to have eyes that see and ears that hear. This is what will make that difference for each and every one of us. So as we step up to the plate, what do we see? We see only the eye of God. Remembering the eye in which I see God is the same eye in which God sees me. Our new legacy of freedom is to recognize our oneness and interdependence and declare it with all our heart and all our mind and all our soul. I love serving as your minister. I love being here on this day. And what I know at the deepest level is that God is our source and that we are going where? Higher yet. Where are we going? Higher yet. Where? Higher yet. And so it is. God bless you.